G'day. This is Ernest from Veryfi. Cool. Thank you for tuning in. I'm going to quickly show you some really cool features in Veryfi's document audit and integrity and fraud checks. So I'm going to be using, the Vault to show you all of that. So if you've watched previous videos, you sort of understand what the Vault is and what it isn't. On the left here, I've got a bunch of documents, right? So these are my folders on my computer, right? I've got a bunch of sample receipts, invoices, and so forth, right? But you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to jump straight into, oh, here we go. Let's have a look at Burger King instead of me selecting something different. I just saw Burger King pop up. I'm like, ooh, yeah, Burger King. Good old Whopper. Who does not like a good old Whopper? All right. So I've opened up the receipt, which has already been processed by the Veryfi API. So you can see a lot of information here, right? You see the actual receipt. You see the JSON data right here, which I can obviously, filter through with, whatever I'm looking for, like country code as an example. I can look at that data in a bit more friendlier way. But, what's really cool is right up the top here, you'll see like a shield icon. So when I click on the shield icon, this is the fraud and document integrity check. So every time Veryfi processes receipt, invoice, whatever it may be, it runs these fraud and document integrity checks. If your account does not have that turned on, please reach out. We will turn it on for you. It's a bolt-on feature to the Veryfi API. Now, there's a lot to cover here, but essentially, right off the bat, what you're looking at is this, this receipt has got a fraud risk fingerprint, and these have been weighted to my preference, right? So if I jump back into config, scroll right to the bottom, here is where I would set all of my weights. So going back into here, and that's how the risk is sort of configured, right? You'll see that I've given the ML score about 30% weight, which is this section right here. This is not a fraudulent document. This is where the system will tell you if it's AI generated, and we will look at one of these AI generated ones in a second. If you want to know where do you get this data from, you can click on that little JSON icon right here, and it tells you meta.fraud. That's where you get your color, that's where you get your decision that it's not fraud, and other goodies that you can use inside your own app if you want to visualize that data as well. But moving along, duplicate checks. Now, I've obviously used this receipt in the past, or should I say I've processed it through Veryfi. So Veryfi has a record how many times I've processed that document, and it's 3 times. So it is a duplicate. Again, clicking on that little JSON, icon is duplicate. Clicking here, you can see meta duplicates, right? So there are 2 types of duplicate checks: exact duplicate and potential similarity check. Use both of them. Very important. Most likely the exact duplicate is a better indicator, but you do want to check, potential similarity duplicates as well. There's no warnings in this example. I'll show you another receipt where there are warnings, where you will look at the line items and say, hey, this line item is repeating, too many times, or stuff like that. There's no price anomalies in this one. Everything's looking good. Document completeness. Okay, there's one little issue where it's missing a thank you message. I guess not all receipts will have that message, but the system is looking for these 8 fields to be present on the receipt to make sure it's legit. We've got transaction timing. I will show you a really cool chart later on where you can grab a bunch of receipts and have a look at, when are you buying certain products the most? Are certain products bought outside of hours, like on the weekends? If it's a business expense, well, that's a problem right there. But this one was purchased within, normal business day. Next one we've got is attendee validation. So when you've got multiple guests, let's just say taking someone to dinner for business expense, obviously, this will sort of do a calculation, how much you're spending per guest, how many guests there were on the receipt, and so forth. And there's a few other technical checks, like, because this is a PDF, it did a PDF fraud analysis check, and there's no handwritten fields, and then it gives you meta information for more technical bits and pieces. So, I mean, you know, this receipt is pretty cool, so I can give it a thumbs up and basically approve it. Now, you see in the left-hand side where the file menu is, that this receipt now has got a little tick box, and you'll see next to it there's also like a green dot and an orange dot. These are related to the fraud, basically to this fraud and document integrity. These dots are the same as you can see next to the shield icon. You see the first icon is, the first dot is green, the second one is orange. What that means that this is not fraudulent. That's what the first dot tells you. And the second dot is actually that there are some warnings, right? We've got few warnings, and one of those warnings is obviously duplicates, right? So it's important for you to double check. Let's jump across to a fake receipt. So let's have a look at that one. It's been rejected. It's fraudulent, and there are warnings on it, right? Yep. Looks a bit fraudulent to me. So let's have a look. Boom. Okay, so the first thing is the ML score came back as it's been generated by AI. So that's an issue. I've obviously acknowledged this already. When a new document comes in, it's basically blinking and telling you, hey, you need to acknowledge this because this is actually fraudulent. You see a lot of potential duplicates in the system as well. Here we go, price anomalies. You see that there's actually an item that's 217% above average. So that's what price anomaly does. It looks at the median and says, hey, is anything above the median? Document completeness, you see like date of purchase is missing. I mean, every receipt should have date of purchase. You know, if you've paid for it, then the last 4 digits of the card's missing. So the document completeness came in at 63%. Transaction timing, look at that. There was no transaction date, right? Again, there's a lot of signals here now telling me that this is fraudulent, and so forth. There's a lot of stuff in here as well. Okay, now, so that was one fraudulent document. Oh, let me show you Pacific Catch. That was a pretty cool one. Pacific Catch is a restaurant. Now, this is a good document, all right? But what I wanted to show you is we've got 18 guests in this one. And so the system worked out that, it's about $38 per average guest. But what this shows me here, that this is slightly over the limit. Because with for lunch, we've set a limit of $30 per head. Let me show you where that was set. So in the configuration, right here. So what we have is before 5 p.m. we allow $30 spent per individual. After 5 p.m., which would be dinner, it's $50 spent. So you can control spend by time of day. Now, while I'm here, we also have an excessive tip threshold. So you can do a global check, like 20%, especially if you're in America. 20% is sort of, the average these days. I guess depends where, right? In California, yeah. But what you can also add is any country, really. You can choose any country, and you can say, look, if I have a receipt from, like here I have from Colombia, and this is just for demo purposes, I don't want to allow anything more than 5% tip. So let's go to a Colombian receipt. Nope, we'll go to this one, right? And boom, there it is, tip analysis, right? We've gone over the threshold 5%. Now, this is not an error, this is a warning, right? So even though this document is legit, you still want to flag it, right? Because you might have company policies in place where it's like, hey, flag any document, that's got excessive tip. So that's what that allows you to do. Alrighty, let's see, what else can we look at? There's a bunch of good documents here. So here's another one, which I think I scanned today. So this is an American one, right? So now you see 20% is okay, because there's a overall, check that says 20 is okay. But if it's from, this country, then I want to, do a different type of check. And in this one, you see attendee validation also picked up that spend for lunch was way too high for these 6 guests on this document. This was within normal business hours. And here we go. That's an interesting one. There's a lot of round numbers, right? Round numbers are rare, but I'm starting to see more and more of them. I'm not sure why, but that's just good to know, right? Here we go. Warnings, right? The artisan burger cheddar truffle fries are repeating on line 4 and 6. So if I click on that warning, that's where it's sort of popping up. We can also, line 4 and 9. So if we go here, so here we go. Artisan cheddar, and then there it is, repeating twice, right? And that's probably because someone, 2 people bought the same meal, and that's okay. Cool. Alrighty, so that's the that's the fraud and document integrity check. I hope you like this. There's so many more features that we're adding every single day. It's just ridiculous, the amount of checks we're doing, because just there's so much fraud going on in the world at the moment, and being able to catch that really, really fast and in real time, just like Veryfi is doing, is really, really powerful. So if you have any questions, leave them in the comments below, and I'll be able. Before I close up, I did want to show you something really cool with my McDonald receipts. So I'm going to select all my McDonald receipts, and then we're going to go transaction timing. This is really cool, actually. I was looking at it, I'm like, am I buying? I have a tendency to buy McDonald's on a Thursday. That is so trippy. But, in this example, if this was a business expense, this is a personal one, obviously. If you would see anything on Saturday or Sunday, you could question it, right? And say, well, what's going on? Why is there purchases being made on a company card on the weekend? And, if the person's not traveling, they're local, then, that's an indicator. You should probably have a chat with them. So anyway, there's a lot of cool stuff. Check out the blog post. Check out more videos. I'll be creating all of them. My name is Ernest. I'm one of the co-founders of Veryfi, and the Vault, which is what you're looking at, is showing you how to basically take advantage of all the data that the Veryfi APIs can provide, and basically build amazing products, or look at your own receipts even, and invoices, right? Or bank statements. I mean, there's another video on bank statements where you can do bookkeeping with this product. You can then do auditing as well, from bank statements down to receipts. So really, really powerful tools. Okay, I'm going to shut up now. I'm going to move on. Thanks again. If you're still listening, thank you for staying with me. Take care.